Hiya, so here's the pocket. I've pinned one, pressed it in place already. So what you're doing with the right side of the pocket facing you, you turn back that first. So I've marked the line to the back. You turn back that first part of the seam and then you fold it, so that's backwards, and then you fold it towards you on the second line. This fabric's a bit frayy. And then what I've done is pinned it in place on the other pocket, so I'll do that now. There we go. So then when you take it to your machine, you sew at a 0.5 centimetre or 1/4 of an inch down this piece, downwards. On the back, I've marked the 1/4 of an inch line ready for the next stage. So on this bit, you can put a little dot there if you want to give yourself, so with your sewing gauge and your erasable pen, so this is water erasable, you can just mark where it needs to be. And your pocket lines on the sides there, so you're sewing down here in both pockets. So bring the machine in. It's a nice short stitch length because you want the stitching to be in proportion with the item you're making. Also you want it to hold together, so you have too wide stitch length, there's a chance that your stitching could, I'm just going to turn it around and do that side first. So let's line you up a bit so you can see what's going on. I might just turn a bit. There we are. So pop it on the machine. Now because it's such a small distance, I'm going to stitch back. Put my machine on a bit, that might help. So I'm just going to go back. Now you could carry on down the length if you wanted to give you a bit of a guide to the next bit. This is what I do. And then I do the turn at the bottom and then I go along the next 0.5 seam allowance. I'll show you why in a minute. And then make sure you get that, keep your needle down on the corner, lift your presser foot and turn. So what I've done is, when I come back up now, I'll be in line with that second mark we've just made. So you repeat that for the other pocket. So what you've done is, if you look on this side, my stitching lines up with that blue line, which is your, I can't really see myself in the picture. I'll do it this way. So my stitch line matches this seam allowance we've created. And I'll do the second pocket in a minute. I'll show you why. So you trim your corner, look at it from the front. You need to trim your corners a little bit because when you turn it out, you want it to be nice and neat. Be careful not to cut your stitches. Remember that on this fold, you've got several pieces of fabric now. So you do the other side. So what you do then is, if you're looking at it, is you take these pieces and you fold it out the correct way. This is where your pointing tool comes into play. From your angle, you're pushing it into that corner, look. You're getting a nice point. And you do the same for the other corner. So you've created a point. That's the top of your pocket. So now the next stage is pressing down 1/4 inch. If you look, you've kind of given yourself a guideline with your stitching. Your stitching line is the guideline for your seam, which kind of makes it a bit easier when you're making the pocket. Let me show you on the other side. Just finger pressing is enough on, because you've stitched that line in. So what they do in the book now is they, in order for you to give you a nice crisp finish here and a bit decorative, they ask you to put a bit of rick-rack along here. I'm just going to use a pretty stitch. I'm going to fold my sides in first, get it all lined up on the bottom one, and then when you go to put it on your pocket, on your dress, sorry, your pocket's all nice and flat. So you can put your rick-rack along there, or you can put a decorative stitch. If you're making this for a child, you can put the child's name on here from the pocket of the dress. It's quite cute. That's one pocket done. So I'm going to do the same for the other pocket. I can't see the marks I put in so well on this side. Just going to make sure I've marked that properly so I don't mess it up. There we are. Nice and tight. One more stitch, I think. Yeah, and then turn again. So again, chop off your corners, make that turn nice and neat. Oh, drop your turning tool. Till the pocket's nice and neat. Then do your sides, get your sides nice and in line. So now would be the time to add the rick-rack if you were using it. I'm not even going to put a decorative stitch. I quite like that as it is. I don't want to detract from the nice pattern I've got. So now the next bit is pinning that to your dress front. Nice and neat and tidy. Where's my dress front as opposed to my dress back? So as I said before, I marked it on the back. So what I'm going to do now, because this pen seeps through on the corners, blue dots, and that allows me to line up if it comes through nice and clear. If not, I'll have to redo it. Okay, so the other way to do this is put pins through, marking your two corners. So on the correct side you can see where the pins are, see it shining there? That's where the bottom of your pocket goes. Get the pin out from underneath. Right, make sure the edge is nice and neat. Pinned it the wrong way around. That's better. So obviously you pin that all in place and then you sew around your pocket. Right, that's those pinned. Right, so now we take it to the machine and we sew around the 3 edges so the pockets are functional. And turn. So that's one pocket sewn in place. Now for the second pocket. The thread has come unthreaded from the needle. Right, just rethread this and then I'll sew the second pocket in place. So that you do that exactly the same way as you did the first pocket.
Hello.
2 seconds, Will. Coco! Here's my dog barking in the video. That's nice for you. Right, that's that bit done. And that's the second pocket sewn. I just tied it with threads. Oh, I'm still attached on the back. So tie it with threads. Maybe I should do as I say. Okay, so that's the pockets sewn onto the dress. First bit done. Come back for the next video on the next piece. Bye.